attention, please. The Disneyland Limited, now arriving from a trip around Walt Disney's Magic Kingdom. Passengers will stand by to board. Your attention, please. The Disneyland Limited, now leaving for a grand circle tour of the Magic Kingdom, with stops at New Orleans Square, Mickey's Toontown, and Tomorrowland. All passengers board. All aboard.
Hello, folks. Welcome aboard the Disneyland Railroad. We're now embarking on a grand circle tour of the Magic Kingdom, with stops at New Orleans Square, Mickey's Toontown, and Tomorrowland, followed by a visit to the Grand Canyon and Primeval World. We got a lot of traveling ahead of us, so remember, for a safe trip, you need to stay seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. And please, watch your children.
Bienvenidos a bordo del Disneyland Railroad. Para su seguridad, permanezca sentado y mantenga las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del tren y cuide a los pequeños. Gracias.
Uh-oh. Did you folks hear that? Sounds to me like we've reached the wilds of Adventureland. Lions and tigers and tiki birds. Everybody best be on the lookout. You never know just what may show up. We're approaching our first stop, New Orleans Square Station. This station serves Frontierland, New Orleans Square, and Critter Country. If you'll be leaving us here, please remain seated till the train comes to a complete stop. Then watch your step while getting off. Have a good time in the frontier, you hear? For those of you continuing on with us, we'll be resuming our trip in just a moment. This is New Orleans Square Station.
Your attention, please. The Disneyland Limited, now leaving for a complete trip around Walt Disney's Magic Kingdom, through the Grand Canyon and Primeval World. Stops at Mickey's Toontown, Tomorrowland, and Main Street Station. Last call.
You might just find your laughing place.
He's having fun moving on now. And running the briar patches where he's heading. Zippity-doo, zippity-day. Wonderful thing, wonderful day. Zippity-doo, zippity-day.
We're now passing over Critter Country, where Winnie the Pooh, Tigger, Brer Rabbit, and Brer Bear make their homes and embark on fun-filled adventures. Although this land was made for critters, human-type folks are always invited to stop in to visit a spell. We're traveling along the rivers of America and into the American frontier as it looked more than a century ago. This area is so rich with natural beauty and wildlife, you can see why the early settlers were inspired to move west. You're seeing this view just like many of them did, from the comfort of a genuine steam-powered train. When these iron horses first started crisscrossing the country in the 1800s, the time it took folks to reach the West dropped from months to a matter of days. Why, steam power not only fueled the trains, but the dreams of a whole new generation as they settled this great frontier. Hey, have you ever wondered what it would be like to visit the cartoon town where Mickey, Minnie, Donald, and Goofy live? Well, in just a few moments you can find out for yourself, because our next stop is Toontown Depot, official train station for Mickey's Toontown. This is also the nearest stop to Fantasyland, where you'll find many of your favorite Disney animated characters and stories. If you'll be leaving us here, please wait until the train comes to a full stop. Remember your personal belongings, then step carefully from the train. Y'all have fun and say hi to Mickey for me. For those of you continuing on with us, we'll be resuming our trip in just a moment. This is Toontown Depot.
Your attention, please. The Disneyland Limited now leaving for a complete trip around Walt Disney's Magic Kingdom through the Grand Canyon and primeval world. Stops at Tomorrowland, Main Street Station, and Frontierland. Last call.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us on the Disneyland Railroad. For a safe ride, remember to stay seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. And please, watch your kids.
¿Qué tal, amigos? Y bienvenidos a bordo. Para su seguridad, permanezca sentado y mantenga las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del tren. Y cuide a los pequeños. Gracias.
As we steam on through Fantasyland, you may want to take one more look at the majestic Matterhorn Mountain. And the happiest cruise that ever sailed. It's a small world. Folks, ahead of us lies the future. Well, I guess we all know that. What I mean to say is, we're heading into Tomorrowland, where everything is possible. If you look overhead, you might catch a glimpse of a monorail. When Disneyland introduced the monorail back in 1959, it was the first daily operating monorail system in the entire Western Hemisphere. Winding below us is the Autopia, where drivers of all ages can get behind the wheel of a car, and no license is required. If you've ever wanted to become an astronaut, then you might want to stop at Space Mountain and Star Tours, where they got some newfangled flying spaceships that'll launch you into the deepest reaches of space. And you can ride them if you got the mind and the nerve. Well, folks, we're now arriving at Tomorrowland Station. If you'll be leaving us here, just stay seated till we come to a full stop. Gather your belongings. To those joining us, welcome aboard. The next leg of our journey will take us along the rim of the Grand Canyon. It's a mighty long drop to the canyon floor. So for your safety, stay seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train.
Strange creatures crawled from the seas, and later, giant animals roamed over the swamps and marshes. Our ancestors never heard the sounds we're about to hear,
nor saw the sights of this fantastic primeval world. If you are disembarking here, please remain seated until we come to a complete stop. Then kindly gather your belongings and step carefully from the train. Thank you for traveling with us aboard the Disneyland Railroad, and we hope you have a wonderful visit here at the Magic Kingdom. This is Main Street Station, Disneyland, U.S.A.
Your attention, the Disneyland Limited, now leaving for a grand circle tour of the Magic Kingdom, with stops at New Orleans Square and Tomorrowland. All passengers, put...
Keep your hands, arms, feet. Cast off power line. Engine room. Ahead 1/4. Engine room. Ahead 3.
That's the leadsman calling out the depth marker so we can avoid running aground. Mark Twain is not just the name of a riverboat or a trailer hill. I've heard it said that the place is haunted, filled with 999 ghosts, ghouls, and goblins. We're now passing Fowler's Harbor. This is home port for the three-masted windjammers of Columbia, the first American ship to circumnavigate the globe. Here's a bit of history for you. The Columbia set sail from Boston Harbor in 1780. She rounded Cape Horn and became the first American ship to carry the Stars and Stripes around the world. into the remote areas of the rivers of America, you're in for a real treat. I've been navigating these parts for years now, but I never get tired of taking in the breathtaking beauty of the Columbia River. The majestic trees, the stunning rock formations, the cascading waterfalls, the moose, deer, and elk along the banks. It's all so magnificent and so peaceful. To the side of the river is an Indian chief, and I do believe he's giving us a sign of peace. That means we're all clear as we head up the Missouri River to the home of the Plains Indians. Take a hollowed-out bridge and turn it into that most wondrous of musical instruments, the flute. It's a legend the Lakota have passed down from generation to generation. And there, just beyond the shaman, is a tribe of Plains Indians setting up their camp along the banks of the river. They'll be here for a few months and then move on. As we continue our journey, keep a close eye on the riverbanks. There's a good chance we might catch a glimpse of moose, mountain lions, and other wildlife. The starboard side is Pirate's Lair at Tom Sawyer Island. Young Tom always said he wanted to be a pirate, and I think I see why. If you're a pirate, you don't need to get up early in the morning and go to school. And you never have to wash your face and hands. All you have to do is just look for treasure all day long. At least that's what Tom Sawyer thought.
Howdy, folks. Please keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the train and remain seated at all times. Now then, hang on to them hats and glasses, 'cause this here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
Poison apple for Snow White.
and welcome to our journey to Storybook Land. My name is Charlie, and I'll be your captain and storyteller today aboard the Daisy. Before we set sail, a couple of reminders. Please remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the boat, and please supervise all children. We don't want our story to take any unexpected turns. Now, when most people visit Enchanted World, they do it through the pages of a book. But for those who do it in person, whether by using us or through a raffle, often find the experience to be magical, or sometimes even frightening. But don't worry, though it looks like we're entering the jaws of Monstro, the will that's fallen Pinocchio. We're actually being transported to a magical place called Storybook Land. Of course, our story begins with once upon a time, and in this case, a big bad wolf whose cave is to the left, and is always after the three little pigs. Luckily, those pigs live across the way in these three houses. One made of straw, one made of sticks, and one made of guaranteed wolf-proof bricks. Our story then takes a turn to the street to come across the English village home to Alice, where one golden afternoon she followed the white rabbit down the rabbit hole and fell down, down, down into Wonderland. From there, things only became curiouser and curiouser. Storybook Land is filled with places that inspire storytellers, places like London Park, where Peter Pan, John, Wendy, and Michael Darling flew over, with the help of Tinkerbell's pixie dust, off to Neverland, where they would never ever have to grow up. And places like Agrabah, city of mystery and enchantment. This is where a street rat ended laughing at Princess Jasmine in the marketplace and stole her heart. Though they repeated the world thanks to the power of love and hope of the youths they were married, and live in the Sultan's palace to this day. Storybook Land is the place where love lives, like the roses in the archways above us, the very same ones where Jasmine flew over, sideways and under, on their magic carpet ride to a whole new world. And though these places are filled with love and light, they also have their dark places, places of mystery, like the Cave of Wonders just ahead. Its treasures bear a terrible curse which can only be lifted by the genie of the lamp. Legend has it whoever sets the genie free will be granted 3 wishes. Let's all make a wish and see if it comes true. Snow White wished for a safe place. She fled from the evil queen and came upon the woodland cottage to our right. Home of the 7 dwarves, they offered her shelter in return for her kindness. If we look closely, we can see their diamond eyes and hear them whistle while they work. Wishes are a powerful part here in Storybook Land, like Cinderella's wish to go to the ball. If we turn our page to the left, we can see her Blue Roof Chateau, where she lived with her wicked stepmother and stepsisters. Her fairy godmother granted her wish, but when she did not leave the ball by midnight, her coach turned back into a pumpkin, which we can see is on that bridge to this day. And though magic has its limits, thankfully love does not. She now lives with Prince Charming at the castle on top of the hill. A dream is a wish your heart wants. Some dreams being of happily ever afters, while others are more literal dreams, like the ones that send babies on the sleeve on the hills of silver flowers, like the ones to our left, inspired by the 1933 Sophie Symphony cartoon Love Island. Magic is everywhere here in Storybook Land, even in the plants, which have been enchanted by Tinkerbell, so they'll never grow up, just like the lost boys of their land. This magic is created a personal favorite of master storyteller Walt Disney, and to inspire new tales. Tales like The Wind and the Willows, with Molly, Rowdy, and Mr. Toad whose basic manners to our left. But sorry folks, J. Thaddeus Toad is not home right now. He's off in his motor car on a wild ride to nowhere in particular. And just beyond that is the kingdom of Arendelle, with Castle as a ship at anchor and Elsa's ice palace rising from the snow-covered mountains. This is where sisters Anna and Elsa met their frozen friends Kristoff, Olaf, and Sven, and discovered something more powerful than Elsa's ice magic, the power of love. Straight ahead is the Alpine Village, home to woodcarver Geppetto, where he wished upon a star for his wooden puppet to become a real boy. When Pinocchio rescued him from the belly of a whale, remember Monstro, the blue fairy granted his wish. Geppetto's wish is like so many made in our fairy tales, like one that led a little mermaid named Ariel to follow Prince Eric to the castle on our right. This is where she left her life under the sea, took her first steps on unsteady legs, and only sees a part of our world. First is the story that hid from the shadows of her father, King Archie, in the underwater city of Atlantica. To our left, where adventures continue to fill and end like all good stories, with a happily ever after. So folks, as we close the book on our journey, we ask that you please remain seated, keeping your hands
Oh, I see it! I see it! Look! Oh, it's so beautiful! Gently the